You're listening to the Rise with Torie podcast, where we explore the intersection between faith, fitness, and wellness. I'm your host, Torie, and I'm so glad you're joining me on this week's episode. The goal here is to grow spiritually, physically, and mentally with a God-first mentality for lasting and God-honoring change. We have reached the Q&A episode. I put out a Q&A box on my Instagram right before I went on my break, because I didn't really think I was going to stop the podcast at that point. And so I collected some questions, and then I was like, I need a break. And so I was like, you know what? I'll come back to the Q&A episode when I come back from my break. So here we are. You've submitted your questions, and now I get to answer. So the very first question, and this one popped up quite a few times because I think people may just have missed it. I haven't overly talked about it on here on the podcast I have, because y'all are my people. But on Instagram, I haven't, talked about it too much. So it was a big question, and it was, I missed it. You're moving? And so there were a few people who were like, wait, you're moving? You're trying to sell your house? Wait, what's going on? And so I know y'all already know this because you listen to the podcast, but yes, we are moving out to Utah. And so we feel like the Lord has called us to ministry out there, and we're going to partner with a church out there just to do some work and just a change of scenery. And we're just going where we feel like the Lord is calling us to go at this point. And, we're just being obedient. So my whole story, I don't know if I shared it on here a while ago, and I know it's been a while, but if you want, go ahead and go back and listen to that episode. I don't even remember what number it is, but you can probably tell by the title. It's just us being obedient and going where God is calling us to go, and trusting that He's going to be with us and provide along the way. Okay, number 2 question. Biggest fitness achievement. So what has my biggest fitness achievement been? Oh man, I would say there are a handful of ones that I'm most proud of. And I would say the first one being just after having my 3 babies and just staying active and taking care of myself afterwards and trying new things and stuff. That would probably be one of the bigger ones. Keeping with a routine and a rhythm of taking care of my body. When they would be outside in the playground, I'd be out there on the playground with them doing push-ups and silly things. I know my Instagram grew a little bit at that time because I was posting like playground workouts, which was kind of like a popular thing at that time. But playground workouts, Pop Sugar reposted one of my playground workouts before, and I got so much hate on their account on Facebook when they reposted that. That was years ago, probably 6-7 years ago. I got so much hate of people just saying, oh, she's showing off working out while her kids are playing on the playground. Oh, why doesn't she just play with her kids instead of trying to work out? And I'm like, y'all, why can't you just be inspired? My whole goal was to inspire moms and parents to move their bodies. You don't have to just sit there and watch your kids play. Like, move your body with them. Get up and play with them. So anyways, I digress. Coming back to the question, biggest fitness achievement, I would say also some races that I've done, just 5Ks and stuff, placing for those, first place in my age group, not overall, but in my age group. I would say PRing my half marathon. The first time I ran it, I think I ran in 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I PR'd it and ran it in an hour and 52 or 53. And so I was super proud of that. Just the hard work I put in to get my pace down, to get my time faster. And that was, like I said, years ago. I probably wouldn't be able to do that time now, but you know what? Like I said last week, God has kind of got me running a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. And then the last thing I would say is just CrossFit and the strength that I've gained in my lifts, my deadlift, my snatch, my clean, my just chest press or bench press, all those different lifts. I've just seen tremendous growth in the last couple years. I did have some back issues where I couldn't really deadlift super heavy for a while. It was kind of discouraging because everyone else in the class is like lifting all this heavy, crazy weight. And I'm just over here, doing the best I can. But last time I went on a deadlift day. I normally don't, but I did. My back felt good. And I tried it, and I got up to like 185 pounds, which is huge for me because of the back issues I've been having. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to break. I'm going to get over 200 pounds one of these days and deadlift over 200 pounds. I know it doesn't, for those who do a lot more lifting, it's not a lot, but for me and just back issues, yes, that was a huge, huge achievement for me. So I just got to keep taking care of my back, and we'll get there. We'll get to that point. Oh, and then squat snatching over 100 pounds was the other one. I was stuck at 95 pounds for almost a year. And finally I got over that 100 pounds. And now I can do, I think my PR was 145, or 140 maybe, which is like crazy. I never thought I'd get there. So anyways, that's just some humble bragging. Y'all asked, so I'm answering what I feel like my achievements have been. Okay, next question. Have you ever felt like giving up? Y'all, who hasn't felt like giving up? Yes. All the time I feel like throwing in the towel. Now, I'll say physically, I know I just feel so much better when I'm moving my body. And so I think physically giving up is not as often as just emotionally. Sometimes with ministry, I'm just like, is it even worth it to keep enduring and struggling through this? And as a leader, sometimes you get frustrated and discouraged. And it would be so easy to be like, no, I'm going to do my own thing. And I'm just going to live a quiet little to myself Christian life and stay in my Christian bubble and not, be wild with the obedience and not step out into scary things. But God doesn't call us to that. And it's hard. But yeah, there are times I want to throw in the towel and be like, nope, that's it, God. I'm done. I'm out of here. But we keep going, and that's part of the endurance and perseverance of the saints as we keep on pressing forward. Now, yes, there have been times physically too that I just, like in a run probably, just stopped and it's hot, I'm tired. But honestly, my mental strength, I can normally talk myself into it, or this is kind of a tip for y'all real quick, is when I feel like I can't run anymore or I can't keep lifting or whatever it is, I'll say, okay, just one more. Or if I'm running, just get to that stop sign. Okay, just get to that house. Okay, just get to that. And if I feel good when I get there, I'm like, okay, just the next little step. So it's always about the baby steps for me in even strength training, like just, okay, one more rep. Okay, then one more rep. Okay, you did it. You're not dying. One more rep. And so that's kind of where I'm at mentally with that stuff, is when I feel like quitting, I'm like, Torie, you're not dying. Just one more time. One more. Okay, you got this. So that's a little tip for you. If you ever just want to throw in the towel, just give yourself those little goals that you can reach. Okay, what does your morning routine look like? My morning routine has been the same for a long time, since my kids have grown out of the baby stage. So when they were babies, it was totally different. But now that they don't wake me up and I have to wake them up most of the time, my morning routine looks like my alarm goes off. I kind of lay there a little bit till I get not so sleepy. I read my devotional. I pray. I do the Bible app where it does the verse of the day, and then there's a person who talks, and then a little devotional with that. And then after you do that, there's like a quiet time, prayer time with God. And I think I shared that last week or the time before, but that's what that looks like for me. I do that for probably 30, 45 minutes. It kind of helps me just ease into the day. I am not a jump up the day's here type of person. I'm normally a night owl, and in the morning it takes me a little bit to get going, and I always feel like I have to start with the word because it just gets me in the right headspace. It helps me put God first and say, okay, God, this day I give it to you. It's about you. Here we go. Let's begin the day. Then I get up and I make my little vitamin energy drink, take all my vitamins, sit down, check my emails, plan my run or plan my workout for the morning. I go get dressed. Sometimes I eat a little breakfast, but normally I save my breakfast for after the workout. I will go get dressed, get ready for my run or whatever I'm doing, lifting, or going to the gym, CrossFit, and then that's pretty much it. I work out. When I'm done, I get to work. Now that the kids are in school, homeschooling, I get them started on their homeschool stuff. They do homeschool while I'm working, and we kind of go back and forth. I help them, I do my work, go back and forth, and that's pretty much it. That's my morning. Lunchtime comes, we all eat, and then, whatever else we have on the list, if they're still doing school or I still have work to do, that's pretty simple morning. But yes, I always start with the Word of God. Let's see, number 4. Have you ever experienced a spiritual breakthrough during a workout? Whew. I feel like every time I work out, there's some kind of spiritual, maybe not breakthrough, but connection. For me, working out, to keep it off myself and my body and trying to change my body, I just try and give it to God and just worship Him through my movement. But a breakthrough, yes. I will say the very first breakthrough I had was when I went through Revelation Wellness Instructor training and we were at retreat, and I cannot pinpoint exactly what it was that was said, but it was a drumstick workout. And it might have been Elisa, it might have been Kara. I cannot remember who was teaching, but I just remember the drumsticks and just, it was Elisa, because it was breakthrough. It just came back to my brain. If you're in Rev, if you're an instructor, you probably know what the song Breakthrough is, but it's Eddie James' Breakthrough. And in the song, he says, breakthrough in my family, breakthrough in my life, breakthrough in like my finances, and he's listing off all these things. And we take the drumstick and we just boom on the ground when he says that. And I literally felt, I started crying because I'm like, yes, for my family, for my health, for all this stuff that he's listing out. And I just felt the weight just lift off me in that moment. So that's my very first breakthrough experience to the song Breakthrough, which is really, really funny. And then a couple others, let me see. Another one would be just when we have experienced some losses in family, friends. That's how I process is movement. And so I started out lifting and the music just kind of started going, and I grabbed my drumsticks and I just started drumsticking it out, and I just started crying my eyes out, and I was like, I just felt peace overcome me in that moment. So I don't know if that's necessarily a breakthrough, but it was definitely a powerful moment in grief and processing what was going on. And then just a couple other times where I'm just in my gym by myself and a song comes on and it just kind of pulls at my heartstrings and I start crying in the middle of a workout, and it just happens sometimes. But you know what? If the Lord is leading through the movement and through the music, man, just let him move through you. All right, what advice would you give the younger generation? Okay. Man, this could be a whole podcast episode in itself, but let's see. The first thing that comes to my mind is just don't conform to the patterns of this world. Romans 12, 1-2, go read it, especially if you're in the younger generation. Don't do what the world is doing. Don't look like the world, talk like the world, act like the world, try and reach the things that the world is trying to reach, the goals, like all that stuff. Yes, it is great to have goals and aspirations and, all that stuff. I have those things. But whenever we're doing stuff and we look just like the world, we have to ask ourselves, what is our motivation? What is our driving force? I'll give you an example here real quick. In the faith and fitness industry. So I'm seeing a shift. I'm seeing a lot of younger people stepping into faith and fitness. And I love it. And it makes me so excited to see the younger generation, especially girls, women, lifting weights, getting strong, taking care of their bodies, and then talking about Jesus. The part that disheartens me or makes me a little sad is when I see, I'm trying to find my words because I don't want to be rude, but I do want to speak truth and I want to speak it in love. So I'm trying to find loving words. But when I see it look just like the world, so for example, the clothing that some people wear, or the booty shots, or showing off our bodies to try and get likes and follows, and then just slapping a Bible verse on it, that's the part where I'm like, yeah, we could do so much better. We can do so much better than just showing off our bodies to get the likes and the follows, because that's what a lot of us are chasing. A lot of people are chasing that clout, that exposure, that, oh, I want to get all the money, I want to get all the recognition, I want to get in the certain doors and sponsorships and all that stuff. But then we're not representing the kingdom correctly or right. And so I think about the verse, is it one of the Gospels that says, what does it gain a man to, what does it gain the whole, wait, how does it go? What does it gain a man to profit the world, but lose his soul? Meaning, what does it mean? What does it gain for us if we gain the world, all the money, all the likes, all the follows, but in the process, we are no closer to God than we were in the beginning. We have not helped people find God. We have not loved other people like God would. We have not shared the gospel like God calls us to. And so we have to think about that. And so it's one of the examples that I see of just, I love that the younger generation is doing this, but don't conform. Don't conform to the patterns of this world. We are supposed to be holy, set apart, sanctified as He is holy, as God is holy. And that means not looking like the world and talking like the world. And if we are, we have to evaluate ourselves and say, okay, what is my motivation? What is causing me to maybe chase after things that maybe will temporarily bring me joy and satisfaction, but it's not the living water. It's not the bread of life. It's not things that will sustain us and satisfy us forever. And our souls, it's just outward and temporary. So that's one thing I would say. And then the second I would say is discipleship. I shared this last week and just how passionate I am about discipleship. And so if you're in the younger generation, a young person, find a mentor, find someone who can disciple you, find someone who can pour into you and help you grow closer to Christ, teach you. Listen, be a sponge. Soak up all the things that you can soak up from people a little bit older than you, a little bit more older than you, and then a lot older than you. We have so much wisdom to gain from those who've gone before us. And so seek that out. Just because someone's older than you, not the same age, or in a totally different generation, don't write them off. Seek them for wisdom. I'm telling you, they have stories to tell, and they have things that they have learned that they can teach us, and things that maybe they wish they would have done differently that we can learn from them. So discipleship and don't conform to the patterns of this world. Those are the two big things I would say to the younger generation. Seek the Lord with all your heart. Okay, next question. How do you handle criticism? I used to not handle it well at all. It would make or break me. And because I am a recovered people pleaser, I still have my moments, right? We all have our things, but before I was a major people pleaser. If people didn't like me, if they didn't agree with me, I would do everything that I could to justify myself, to get them to see my point of view, to get them to see my heart. And now I've gotten to the point that if I know that my actions or what I've said was what God called me to do, was God honoring, was the right thing, then I cannot control what other people think about me. I can't control how people respond to me. That's on them. If in their heart they think that, oh, well, she just did this, da, 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 da. Well, I know in my heart I didn't. So that's yours to take to the Lord and try and decide for yourself. But for me, I'm at peace because I know God called me to do that. So that's on you if you think that. So criticism, if it's constructive, if it's coming from a place of love and they're trying to teach me and help me do better, I welcome criticism, constructive, loving criticism. I am a person who wants to do, I want to do better. I want to get better. I don't want to be the same. I want to learn. I want to grow. And so if someone comes to me and says, I saw you did it this way, but maybe think about doing it this way next time, or let me teach you how to do this. And I'm like, teach me. I want to know. And so criticism for me is good if it's in a good way. And then other times I just let it roll off and say, you know what, that's on them. If they're going to criticize me and judge me and think this and that, then that's out of my control to try and manipulate or try and justify myself and try and please everybody around me. And then the trolls on the internet, y'all, they don't know me. They don't know you. People online, they just argue for no reason. And I'm just like, I just laugh about it because you will never get anywhere online. If people are going to say something about me online, I bless them and block them. Or I just delete it and, okay, we're not going to have that negativity on here. Bye. Okay, next question. Mom of 3 and struggle. Okay, so this person, she must be saying, I'm a mom of 3 and I struggle with an all or nothing mindset. Any tips to overcome this? Okay, the all or nothing mindset, man, a lot of us can find ourselves in this place of we're going to do it. We're going all in. And when something comes up or we mess up one little thing, then we just throw in the towel and then it becomes nothing. And we're just like, forget it. I'll just start again Monday, or why even bother, right? Maybe you've been there. Maybe that's you. I might have said this on the podcast before, but I'll just say it real quick again. And that one thing that I try and teach is the baby steps, like we talked about before, baby steps, little by little. Don't expect to try and change it all at once. Maybe you've done it and you've had success, but maybe you're in I'm just going to make up a number, but the large majority, 90%, 80%, whatever, of people who try and do all or nothing and it doesn't work out for them. More times than not, it does not work out if we do all or nothing. And so what I always say is find the areas that you really need to focus on for the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And so I have a health assessment that I do in my program for my clients that they can take kind of a little quiz and figure out what area they want to focus on. So they score themselves. The lowest rating is the one they should focus on. So the topics are, first and foremost, I always say spiritual, just your relationship with God. If that's not right, all the other things don't matter anyways, because if your relationship with God's not right, those are gonna falter too. So relationship with God, water, sleep, movement, and nutrition. I think those are it. I might be missing one, but they rate it. And then they see which one is the lowest, and that is the area, instead of trying to focus on all of them, that is the area they're going to focus on for the next time period until it becomes a habit. So what does it look like in, maybe say you want to work on drinking more water. So maybe you drink 8 ounces a day, a glass a day, and you want to get up to 64. Well, it's not helpful to go from 8 ounces to a gallon or even 64 ounces a day and just try and do it all at one time. It might work for a couple days and then you'll go back. So we want to start small. We want to start with, okay, I'm currently drinking 8 ounces, but tomorrow I'm going to drink 16 ounces. And I'm going to do that for a couple days. And then I'm going to add 8 more ounces or 4 more ounces. And I'm going to drink that for a couple more days. And then I'm going to add a little bit more and add a little bit more until I get to that goal. And over time, when we do it slowly like that, it's sustainable and it is doable, it's reachable, and it helps it become a lifestyle. It helps it become just something that we do, just a part of our routine, and we don't even have to think about it. Okay, so the all or nothing mindset, I'm definitely not one for it. If you do it and you find success, great. But if you've struggled and you always give in, throw in the towel, I really highly recommend little by little. I know it takes longer. I know but listen, we're in this for the long haul. We are in this for a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is for lifetime. This is lifestyle change. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, next question. Advice for someone struggling with time. So I'm assuming that is struggling with time, maybe time management, or trying to find the time to work out, or maybe even meal prep. And so what I would say is sometimes we think we don't have a lot of time, and we really do. We're just not managing our time wisely. So let me give you 2 things here. First thing is, if you are super busy and it's hard for you to find time, which yes, I believe there are a lot of you out there that just do not have the time. Something that was helpful for me was scheduling my workouts, scheduling the time that I'm going to meal prep, cook, whatever it was going to be. I wrote it in my calendar like it was a doctor's appointment, and I had to hold fast to that time. So for example, let's say 8 a.m. on Thursday, I write in my calendar, I have an appointment to work out at 8 o'clock. And so I have to keep that appointment. And so I know it's in my schedule, it's there, it's blocked off, and so I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do it. That's the first tip. So schedule it like a doctor's appointment. Sometimes we have to do that to get it in there, to fit it in. Maybe you work and after the day, you're going to go to the gym, and at 5, okay, I get off at 4:30, whatever. At 5 o'clock, I'm going to the gym. I have an appointment. 5:15, I'm going to start working out. Okay, so that's just one example. Maybe your kid naps at 3 or 2 during the middle of the day, and you're like, that's my time, that I'm scheduling it in right now. Now, yes, we have to be flexible because sometimes things happen. Can't throw in the towel when plans change. Be adaptable. But that's one thing that you can do. The second thing you can do is, just like we would track our food to kind of see where we're at, what we're consuming, not to judge ourselves, but drop the pin, is same thing with our time management. Drop the pin on where you're spending your time. So say you think, oh, I don't have any time during the day, but you keep a journal for 24, 48 hours, and you see, okay, I wake up, I do my devotionals, read my Bible, whatever, and then I scroll for 30 minutes. You write that down. Then, okay, I go to work, or I'm with the kids, we do school, or run errands, I go to work, whatever it is. But then I get home, I make dinner, and then from 6 to 7, I watch Netflix, and you write that down. At the end of the day or the end of the week, however long you want to do this, look at your schedule and see, oh man, I had 3 hours where I was just mindlessly scrolling or watching Netflix that I could have gotten in a 30-minute workout, or I could have gone for a walk, or I could have done something like meal prepping, that I could have done something that helps me get to my goals, or helps me be healthier, or helps me take care of my body in a God-honoring way. So that's one way that you can evaluate and just see, where exactly am I, just like you would a budget, tracking your money. Do that with your time. Track your time and see, where is my time really going? Okay, next. Oh my gosh. I just read this question. Y'all. This question says, can I see your feet? What in the world is this question? Okay, y'all. can I see your feet? No, no, sir. No, ma'am. Whoever you are, you cannot see my feet. Okay. There's a funny story I have about feet though. Adrienne and I were at a filming summit or something for Revelation Wellness, and she brought foot masks for us to do together. And so I set up my camera and we were taking pictures, and I made a little video, put the little things on our feet. It was like a green foot mask. And in the video, you can see the bottoms of our feet with the little mask on it. I got a comment, and it's probably the same person that said, "Oh, beautiful feet. Can you send me more or DM me more?" or something like that. So I sent it to Adrienne. I said, "We have a creeper on our hands." I deleted the person. I think I blocked them, and they came back, either the same person or whoever. It looked like the same comment. And I was like, "Adrienne, that person is back, wants to see our feet. What in the world?" So deleted it, blocked them again. So I need to delete this person because what in the world? Okay, moving on. Last question. Do you ever struggle with body image? Yes, absolutely. I struggle with body image. I feel like this is something that will just be an ongoing thing that the enemy will whisper in our ears, that many of us will struggle with because the enemy doesn't want us to see ourselves as God sees us, or as God wants us to see ourselves or see each other, because we're made in the image of God. We are image bearers. And if the enemy can keep us from seeing that and recognizing that, I mean, his job here, it makes it easy that we don't see ourselves. We pick ourselves apart. We criticize ourselves. We compare ourselves to others, and we don't see the beauty and the awesomeness and the creativity that God has put into creating us. And so, yes, with that being said, I do occasionally still struggle with body image. However, not like I used to. And I know how to combat it now. And I know how to fight against the enemy and those lies. And I know how to fight against myself and the self-doubt and the self-deprecation. I know how to fight against it now. And so when those thoughts come up, or when those lies come up, I can find something good about myself, something I love about myself. And this really helps me is when I'm out and about and I see people with different hair and different skin color and different eyes, different lips, different feet, whatever it is. And I try and just see that person as made in the image of God and just say, wow, God made that person in his image. Look how beautiful God has created each and every one of us. And yes, sometimes it is easier to see that in others than ourselves. But we have to turn it on ourselves too and look in the mirror and say, wow, God is so creative. Look how he made me different than so-and-so. Or look how he made my hair to be curlier or straight or whatever it is, and just bring it to God and ask him to help you see yourself how he sees you and how he created you. And I think that really helps a lot. And then remembering the truth and remembering what he says about us, not what the world says about us, not how we think we should be, but remembering who we are in Christ, and that these earthly bodies they're going to fade away. They're not going to last forever. We're going to get older, eventually not be here anymore. And so we'll be in our glorified bodies one day. And so while we're here, just marveling at each other and marveling at ourselves of just how awesome God is, always bringing it back to God. And that's something that kind of helps me out a little bit when I do start to struggle with body image. So that is it. That is all my questions for today. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that maybe something resonated with you, that there's something that you take away from this. If you have any topics, anything you want me to talk about in the future, please email me or DM me on Instagram. My email is torielynfitness@gmail.com, and just let me know. Next week, we'll have a guest on, and I'm so excited. Speaking of the younger generation, she is younger and she's an expert at talking about the younger generation. And so I'm so excited for this interview with her. I'll share who she is next week when she comes on. And I look forward to seeing you on here again next time. All right, y'all have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.